gets the home game with the AFC East division title last night. They now host Pittsburgh because Jacksonville and Doug Peterson just stink. And now Bills open up as 10-point favorites. I understand that clearly we're the better team here. Manny's trying to say that is potentially for the TJ Watt injury and what can potentially mean what that means for them in this game. But in an NFL game alone, double-digit points to cover is very hard. Now you put that with a playoff game.
A Mike Tomlin playoff team.
I don't think we're covering that, but this is a walk in the park for the Bills. Just don't act like it is, and we got it done.
This is a tough one, right? Because like the Mike Tomlin Steelers, I feel like their identity is they lose games that they're supposed to win, and they win games that nobody gives them a chance to win. I mean, this is just on paper, this is a quintessential Steelers game. They're getting 10 points. Nobody in the universe is going to go near them with a 10-foot pole. And historically, that has pointed to some Steelers success. I don't think that's going to be the case this weekend. If TJ Watt was playing, I think this could be a closer game. Like the Bills are night and day better than the Steelers. I think the Steelers are atrocious. But again, we saw last night the full spectrum of the Josh Allen experience, and he will win you games, and he has the ability to lose you games. And I just think the likelihood of him losing you a game probably drastically decreases without TJ Watt, the best player on the Steelers and, top 3 player in the NFL wreaking havoc. Without Watt, I just don't see how the Steelers find a way to make this game competitive. I just don't see it.
No, absolutely. This was like a dream matchup, getting Steelers spread money line. You know what kind of better I am, Alex. Like if TJ Watt was playing, this was the dream spot for me. Just because I think he just matched up with Josh Allen, even off the edge. They'll put him in some spies, but without him, it's GG for them. I mean,
the one thing is,
I don't even know if I can touch the spread without TJ Watt, to be honest, because it could really get ugly. I don't know if I can touch it, honestly.
The only thing I haven't looked at, weather, the Buffalo weather, I'm assuming they're calling for bad weather. If the total is like 30,
just about to say that 35 and a half.
Yeah.
Something's got to be brewing in Buffalo.
No, that's a good call.
And
so, I think the worse the weather, the better that is for the Steelers. I mean, I think bad weather, it condenses games.
Hell
like
yeah.
the Bills offense is obviously a wagon here, and I think the bad weather is a negative to that. So I really do think you might be able to talk me. I want to see where this spread goes throughout the week, but I think there's going to be some value on the side of the Steelers here. But I mean, it would be the choke job of the century if after the Bills went on the run that they just went on to essentially backdoor the division, to then lose at home to is it going to be Kenny Pickett? I assume Pickett's going to play.
Please God. They have to have Brandon. They have to have a Brandon be like, we got to put Kenny in. We have to, and just let Najee barrel a little bit, and we had the most capable quarterback we possibly could have in the situation. I'm so sick. TJ's not playing. Bro.
Maybe target George Pickens this week.
Or we don't know if TJ's
maybe
playing.
Target George Pickens. Look in his direction.
Yeah, man. No, you're not wrong, brother. Sorry.
I understand. We snapped the last 2 weeks, but.
No, you're not wrong.
You got to give him the ball.
Without Watt, I don't
so
see
hard
it. Unless, dude, again, if you're a Steelers fan, you just got to pray that the weather just gets worse and worse and worse, and then the game just becomes chaos. I mean, at that point, it's NFL football. Anything can happen. You never know. But they're gonna need a lot of help from the weather gods, the football gods, and I don't know, maybe the devil himself if they want to come out of this game victorious.
Well, and speaking of last thing on that, speaking of Steelers, Mike Tomlin, you still got it. 9-8 with never a doubt. Were you ever going to go a losing season? Finds a way to, you talk about backdoor, finds a way to backdoor and get plus 500, gets over the 500 mark. Unbelievable for Mike Tomlin. Good for you.
I think didn't he go 5-1? They went 5-1 in the division, right? Pretty sure they went 5-1 in the division, like clear cut, like that's incredible, bro. Like he's a freak.
I remember we were talking about, when the Bengals still had a playoff spot, we were talking about all 4 of these AFC North teams making the playoffs. When somehow Browns were doing this with that defense, you bring Flacco in. Hats off to that division. That was the most fun of football that we were seeing all year long. All right, let's go to another narrative. As you mentioned, Kenny, with all these narratives, Mike McCarthy is seeing his former team visit AT&T Stadium. 4:30 on Sunday. We got the over at 50.5. The Packers at plus 275, underdogs on the money line, and 7.5 point underdogs. CeeDee Lamb leading the league, leading the wide receivers, 14 touchdowns on the year. This team still looks scary. I gotta obviously give the edge here to Dallas. I'm gonna congratulate Jordan Love on making the playoffs, getting that $500,000 incentive mark. A little crazy that Geno Smith was supposed to get $2 million if they made the playoffs, and not Jordan Love. I agree with you on that. But yeah, the Cowboys got to take care of business here. I'm a little bit more scared of the Cowboys this year than I was last year. I still think the same hype around the Cowboys this year is the same as last year. It's just I think they're playing better this year, and they are a better team this year. I easily think it's got to be the Cowboys here. I don't think they can cover 7.5 though.
Oh yeah, unfortunately, like I love this Packers team. It's hard not to tip your hat off to Jordan Love and what this team has done. I think the Packers are the only team that make the playoffs without a Pro Bowler. Again, I know that people scoff at the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl doesn't really matter, but it's still recognition of the kind of players that you have on your team.
That's a good point.
And I wish they still had the season long award still up. They've essentially Stefanski was like minus 10,000 to win Coach of the Year like a week ago, right? So he's going to win Coach of the Year, and I get the argument. I think you look at what the Browns have done with like 4 different quarterbacks, so the hats off there. I don't think you can't give Stefanski Coach of the Year and give Flacco Comeback Player of the Year. Like was it Stefanski or was it Flacco? I think. Like you look at the totality of the season here, like how do you not look at what the Packers have done and not say Matt LaFleur is Coach of the Year?
Yeah, he's knocked out the park.
I think he knocked it out of the park, man. So that's my 2 cents on that. I think the Cowboys destroy the Packers. I think they win this game by like 35.
Wow. Okay. Completely off on
no, yeah, I was going to say, because I'm making my emotional I love Jordan Love bet on the Packers plus 7.5, but it is not a good, this is like a horrible matchup on paper, horrible matchup for where they're going down to Jerry's World, horrible matchup for Mike McCarthy playing his old organization. Like, I think it means more for Mike to probably kick the shit out of the Packers than it means for LaFleur to kick the shit out of the Cowboys. It is definitely not the dream matchup for the Packers.
Dude, I'll say this, right? Like, the Cowboys have all the pressure in the world coming into this game.
That's what I like. That's what I like.
Cowboys, the Cowboys have all the pressure in the world. The Packers are playing with house money. I mean, they could lose by 50, and this is still a very positive season for them. Like Jordan Love could go out there, lay an egg, play the worst game of his life, and if you're a Packers fan, you're still ecstatic going into next year. You're excited about your team, where you're going. Like you're playing with house money here. So that's the one thing I'll say that the Packers have going into this is that there's a lot more pressure on the Dallas Cowboys with, again, what they've done or haven't done in the playoffs over the last like 25 years. This is clearly their best chance to win the Super Bowl of my lifetime. And again, I feel pretty good about them taking care of business this week. But I think that if you're the Packers, I think the only scenario where this is a game and you at least have a shot here, I think you have to strike first. You got to find a way to strike first and get those boo birds in Dallas starting to fly. I mean, the second that crowd gets, those butt cheeks clinch up a little bit, and you're like, oh, like here we go again. Oh boy. Other than that, man, I think it's going to have to take a lot of good fortune for the Packers to find a way here. And as much as I've liked what I've seen here, the defense has a lot of issues. The Cowboys put up 30 yesterday, like literally while half asleep. I mean, this offense is just a juggernaut. They're going to score 40 at will. The only way that this is an L is if they lose the turnover margin by like 3. Dak throws a pick 6. And again, I think if Green Bay gets the ball first, marches down the field and scores, I'm interested because it's going to put Dallas on their back feet. It's going to get that crowd a little anxious, but again, I think this number's right, and I think it might even get higher. I mean, I really do think just top to bottom, the Cowboys are just so much better.